passion. Um, so I jumped right in about 3 years ago and started fiber farming. Um, I don't regret it. It is a lot of work. There is a learning curve. Um, I've learned a lot of what not to do versus things I should do. Um, but I love the fact that there's really no right or wrong when it comes to fiber farming. Um, it's up to the fiber artist's precipitate perception of what they want to create, and the creativity is unlimited, um, which I absolutely love. Um, so to jump right in, um, we're going to start with what I'm wearing. Now, what I'm wearing is it is a scoop neck slip over, and I had discovered this pattern in a box of things my husband had brought home, and it was in a vintage work basket magazine from 1975 October edition. It was in really bad shape, and I actually took the pattern out and encased it in some clear plastic tape on both sides, and I can make notes with a dry erase marker and just wash them off when I need to be. It was really hard to see what it was going to look like. It's a yellowy kind of page with a black and white photo, and but I had been needing something I could use as a layer. When I go outside, like I said, northeastern United States, it gets pretty cold and I do have to go outside. So I needed something I could layer and not feel weighted down or too bulky. Um, so I gave this a shot, and I it's super easy, super easy. If you come across the Work Basket magazine, I believe you could probably find editions to this on eBay. Probably. Um, October 1975 edition. Um, yeah. It's just your basic scoop neck with some ribbing at the bottom. I followed the pattern, and this is the length it is. Um, I'm a size medium, so that's what I made, and this is a size medium in a worsted weight size yarn. This is my hand dyed. Um, I, I I really do like this enough to make another one as far as layering, and it is quite warm, um, but in many different colors I'll do it. The only thing I would possibly change to this pattern is maybe make it a little bit looser in the arm, like maybe a little lower. But I love the ribbing at the bottom. It actually keeps it down and in place if you're outside, working with your animals or what have you, and you have to do a lot of bending over and stuff. It doesn't let the air go up, and I really am impressed with this pattern. And someone who is what I would classify myself as a adventurous beginner. As far as knitting goes, I'm still learning about all the terminology and the abbreviations. I'm self-taught knitter. I have been crocheting and sewing my whole life, but as far as knitting goes, I'm relatively new for 3 years, and I can do most things, and YouTube has been a great source of information for me. But even a beginner could follow this pattern here. And so, if you ever get a hold of any of those Work Basket magazines, they really are just full of ideas. They are vintage and they look a bit old-timey, but if you change the coloring or slightly adjust it to be shorter or longer, you can modernize most patterns. So there's that. Next, I'm going to be talking about what I'll be spinning. And I have learned, like I said, I jumped right into it. I have some alpacas, I have a few sheep, and some Pagora goats. learning how to wash and card and spin and dye. All self-taught through videos, and I learned, like I said, a lot of what not to do. Unless you're felting it, and that's not what you're trying to do, there really is no right or wrong as far as blends or colors, or it's, like I said, the creativity is unlimitless. I love it. I am down the rabbit hole with this fiber. So let's jump right into it, shall we? Let's see here. I have this squishy purple. Squishy purple. Which is a wool, mohair, bamboo, and alpaca blend. Like I said, there is no right or wrong. I blend what I want. And I dyed this with the purples and the greens. And I'll be spinning this up this week. I don't know if you can see the coloring. You know, every time I look at this, I think purple people eater. A Halloweeny kind of a yarn. And I do have a tendency when I do spin to do a light worsted or a fingering weight, and I do both single ply and 2-ply. I find that with the 2-ply I can vary the colors even more, so I will be doing this in a 2-ply. I haven't decided on whether I'm going to do this with apply this with a lime green or a purple or even a white. I don't know. We'll see what happens when I spin that up this week. But I believe it'll be a very sturdier wool because of the texture. Second, and I cannot wait to do this one. I can just tell by past bats this is going to be a very drapey, soft, next to the skin, kind of a soft. And I have blended llama, silk, that's Tussa silk, and wool. And I just cannot wait. It is very, with the llama, it's long staple, so it should be a relatively easy spin. That's gonna be pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Again, this will be plied also. I think if I ply it with a pink, then it's pretty much going to be a pink project. I'm not a huge fan of pink. I don't hate it. I definitely dye things pink and wear them. I don't have an abundance of it. I like the warmer colors, but I do try to make myself wear stuff other than my normal colors, just to spice it up a little bit. So I will be applying both of these and spinning them this week, and hopefully there's a episode 2, and you'll be able to see that when it's done. Things I've already spun, and I may be talking a little fast because I'm new to this recording, and I'm not quite sure. I think I have a limited time on this videoing, and I want to make sure I get it done because I am not experienced in editing. So if there are any mistakes in this video, well, then you get to see them too, because I'm not very good, but I love to learn new things every day, and so I can promise you this is only going to get better as I get more experienced. Okay. Now this one here, this is what I spun up this week. It is a 2-ply, and there are browns, coppers, blacks, and this is a llama, merino, alpaca, angelina, and camel. Now I do purchase some of my fiber via the internet because I obviously don't have a camel. Not that I wouldn't own one if I could, but I did purchase my camel and my angelina. But And this is really soft, and it is a little plumper than I had anticipated. So I cannot wait. Sometimes staring at my yarn is a hobby. It is. I swear it is. Okay, and that, some of that was dyed. Some of it is natural. This here is mostly natural. A few flecks of orange, and of course the Angelina was added. This here, this is merino, alpaca, and Angelina. And it is a 2-ply, and there's 268 yards. I wish this turned out so nice. I wish I'd done at least 2 or 3 of these. I would love to have a sweater in this because it is softer than normal. It is next to your skin, kind of soft. And it's something you could wear all day, layered like in a sweater. But 268 yards. And this comes from my Petey, my brown Wakaya alpaca, and my Iris, my white Wakaya alpaca. You see little bits of orange in there, which I think will add just a little bit of interest. I said, I don't believe there's a right or a wrong. I love to see what other people spin, just to see their creativity and come up with things that I didn't think of. I really do miss the Vibra festivals this year. It is one of the main reasons I'm starting this podcast is from the lack of communication in the fiber community. I said I'm really getting sufficient at this and interested in what other people want to see. I also would love someone to communicate with my poor husband. He gets to hear all about it, and of course I get responses like so I know he listens to me, but it's not the same if you don't have another crafty person. He puts up with me. I'm a lot to put up with sometimes. Okay, and the third one we have here that I'd spun up this week is a Romney Alpaca Mohair Angelina blend. And there is 336 yards of this. And if I thought that was soft, this is even softer. Again, I could have done some more see the purples and the sparkly royal blue Angelinas. And now I was concerned with the mohair. Yeah, mohair, that there would be some scratchy spots, some itchy, pokey spots, but no, it seems to be just fine. I definitely think this will end up being a cowl, possibly with another one added to it. I lack the patience to make more than one bat of the same color. I cannot wait to see what the next color is going to look like. I cannot wait to create the next bat. I just want to make all the things all at once. And so I'm eager to start the next one. And since I already know what this one looks like, making another one, I already know what that looks like, you know? So I'm working on that patience level because I really do want to make a sweater's quantity of one of my bats, my bat colors. Versus having to do a stripy sweater or something. And the last one we have here is 84 yards of merino, alpaca, Romney, sari silk, and Angelina. And yes, I do like a lot of sparkle in my stuff. This is, I dyed the merino and then the Romney. You see the sparkles? Now there's not enough here to do a whole like hat or a cowl, so I will have to pair this with something. And because when I dye also, my dye pots are like one-time wonders. I don't write anything down, so the probability that I could dye and get the same color is going to be at least a half a shade off, if not more. I just kind of experiment and have fun with it. A lot of my colors are one-pot wonders, and I cannot create them again. I can come close, and they look the same until you put them in the same knitting project, and then you can see the slight difference. But that is what I spun up last week, and those are ready to go. They're already set. The twist has been set, and they're ready to go. A lot of people, because my patience. I just want to do it all at once. I'm sure there's a lot of crafters out there like me. A lot of people want to know what you could possibly make with the one skein. They're looking for ideas, and one of the things that I make is you can do a lot with one skeins. Most of mine are about 250 yards, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. I spin on an Ashford Kiwi, and I just got a Kromsky Fantasia. That's what I spin on. Now, I did start spinning on a Top World drop spindle, and I still use that if I travel, if I go somewhere, because it's portable. But I prefer my spinning wheels. They're much faster. So on there, and I did this 50-50 wool and llama, and the llama was donated to my studio. Very natural colors. I did throw in some orange specks. I was looking for a very sturdy wool, and this did not let me down. This is a very sturdy wool, and what I'm making here is a winter wool boot sock. My feet get cold really fast, and when my feet are cold, I am not a happy camper. And I have to be outside extended times during winter with my animals, take care of them and feed them, cleaning out the barn, stuff like that. And so I need to be insulated, yet still able to move. So like 15 layers is not possible. Although I would seriously try it some days. This here is a sock that I'm making. I cast it on 50 stitches, and I'm using, I think this is a 2.5 millimeter. It is a bit thicker. This is a 1x1 rib in the front, and then I did a solid stitching, stockinette stitching. You're going to have to bear with me. I know crocheting like the back of my hand, but when it comes to knitting, I'm new to the abbreviations and the terminology. What I've learned, I don't always remember the names of it. Now right here, where is it? I know you can see it. Is it right here? Right there, right there. It looks like there's a new skein, but it's just a natural coloring, which is fine. That's fine. It's going to be in a boot anyway. No one's going to see it. But this will be a very sturdy, warm boot sock. I have small feet. Now my husband, I would have probably cast it on at least 62 to 67. He has a much wider foot. I do not enjoy making his socks. But I do. I will. Yep, there's enough here. I think there was 268. Woo, I lost it. I'll find it. I'm always losing it. I will possibly make 2 pairs out of this, or I can make a beanie out of it. Many possibilities. There's a lot here. Many possibilities. I'm just about ready to do the toe. And for the heel, I do a afterthought heel because I am a self-taught knitter with YouTube videos, and it is incredibly hard for me to learn that way. I am a hands-on kind of a learner. I have watched so many videos on how to do the heel flap gusset thingy. I just don't understand how they're picking up those stitches. But I was able to grasp the afterthought heel where you cut into it and then magic loop, the heel back in. And that works great. I have no problem with that. It works just fine. I have made about 6 pairs of socks so far that way, and because I did start out with just tube socks, which work. They feel a little funny, and the heel does not last as well because you wear that spot out. So I have made 5 or 6 pairs with the afterthought heel, and that works great for me. It's probably what I'm going to do here. Hopefully one day I will get to meet somebody that can show me the proper way to do a heel without cutting. Like I said, these are done on a, I believe, 2.5 millimeter, I want to say. Now these are bamboo needles with the plastic tubing, and these are probably one of the cheapest ones you could find. I'm not experienced enough to know that much about knitting needles, and I didn't want to invest a whole bunch just in case I didn't learn how to knit, or I didn't think I was going to get into it. I've had these for 3 years, and they do awesome work. I don't have a problem. I find that I do prefer the wood over the metal. It doesn't slide off as much. Now these do, right where it joins, the tube cable connects to the wooden part, it does catch, and sometimes I have to walk the stitches over, so I don't like that. But other than that, I don't have a problem with these. I am interested in if someone wants to give me a suggestion on some needles that have a very flexible cable and maybe a smooth join area here. I would be very interested in learning what works for you guys as far as what is the cable, because I do a lot of magic loop. The cable has to be flexible. I have ordered a few in the last couple months that just weren't what the picture had envisioned. They weren't the best, but, and I will use them because I already bought them, but they're not what I thought they were. And I'm still on the hunt for that kind of a cable. Again, any suggestions? I would love to find out what you're using, but I'm hoping to have one, if not both of them, done for an episode 2. Get ahead of myself. I'm hoping there's an episode 2. I'm hoping that everyone enjoys this. I am so new at this. Videoing. It is not, technology is not part of my generation. It is the greatest nemesis to me of all times. I get very frustrated with it and no one to show me. But thanks to 2020, it has become a very necessary part of my life if I want to continue corresponding with the fiber community. And I truly hope to meet some wonderful people and correspond with many about our love for crafting in general. Another project I have, my work in progress, I've learned they call those whips, and my husband did not understand why I kept saying that, and I had to inform him that no punishment was going to be handed out, that it indeed stood for work in progress. My poor husband. He puts up with me. He so puts up with me. This one is wool, sari silk, alpaca, merino, and camel. There's 230 yards, and this has a much different texture to it. Very soft. It looks like it's going to be coarse, very soft, and I can almost feel the lanolin still in, a little bit of lanolin still in it, which is fine because I have to block this yet, and it's going to get another washing. Now this is a 2x2 ribbed winter beanie, like a watchman's cap, and we love this style because it hugs our head during winter and the wind won't blow it off. It's also extremely warm, and they make excellent holiday gifts. The finished product is a really nice beanie. Now this one here, not my normal color. Again, this is why I cannot wait to card up the next bat. I am not a green kind of a person. And when I made this, I do have some family members that love green. So I try to make sure that I have different shades of green accessible for any last minute gifts I have to make. And when I carded it up into a bat, I still wasn't overly impressed. But knitting this up, I am thoroughly impressed. I even thought of keeping it for myself. I don't know if you can see the specks in it. Now with this one, it is on a 3.75 needle in shades of green with some beige and creams and tans in there. 3.75 needle, and I cast on 100, and this is sport weight maybe, or a DK weight maybe. It's definitely bigger than fingering and smaller than worsted. I know, right? I know. I'm gonna get better. I learn new things every day, and this video is only gonna get better. But I am thoroughly impressed with this, and it's not even a hard pattern. You cast on 100. You do a 2x2. This is done in a magic loop, by the way. 2x2 rib, and I knit until I reach 11 inches, and then I will knit. I will, when I decrease, I knit 2 together at a time for 2 rows, and then with the darning needle, I loop through the top a couple of times, and you're done. And again, I don't know if that's the proper way. That's my way. I've never had a hat break on me or unravel. My husband is extremely hard on his knits, extremely hard, and he has not managed to ruin his. So this pattern's a keeper. I didn't use a pattern. This is my pattern. But here are the 2 hats. Now this one here is 100% alpaca, and it is from my Petey and Iris, and very soft, very soft. It is all natural. This is what the colors they are. See, I just I think there's like 8 or 6 stitches left, and I just wind it. I just darn them shut. And this one here is green and browns, and this is a alpaca, which would be my Petey, and long wool, which is my Mr. Sir. We have unusual names here. My male is Mr. Sir, and he is a long wool, and I am not efficient in the sheep breeds. I want to say he's a Leicester long wool. And again, if I am butchering any names, any pronunciations, um, bear with me. Bear with me. I am learning. I encourage learning. And I do not think there are any uneducated questions. If you don't learn something new every day, I just don't think life's worth living. Um, I love to learn, and with this fiber, there's never an end to learning. Um, I learn how something works as far as blending it together. Is like I've learned, you cannot. A few of my sheep have a very coarser wool that I would use on primarily an outer garment, or maybe if I were to crochet a wool rug. Necessarily not nothing that next to the skin. But I thought that if you mixed or blended those coarser wools with a softer fiber, whether it be Pagora or camel or alpaca, that it would make it softer. That's not the case. No, if you use a coarser wool, you're still just using a coarser wool. So, like I said, lesson learned, and I have learned that you just can't do certain things, but it's not a bad thing, and that yarn was